Hey guys, today I'm going to share with you the top questions, 10 or 11, that I received for the first semester of the 2021-2022 school year. Stick around. Welcome to the channel. My name is Morgan here at The Life of Tillmans. If this is your first time, welcome. I am so happy to have you here in this space. I hope that while you're here, you find everything that you need, love, and enjoy right here on the channel. If you haven't done so already, go ahead, click that subscribe button and that notification bell so that you do not miss any of the videos uploaded on the channel. If you've been with me before, welcome back. We are coming up on the end of a year, 2021, but we are also like at the halfway point for most people for the school year. We do homeschool year round, but I still consider this to be like our halfway point. So I like to share questions that people ask me. A majority of the questions that I get are through our social media account at Life of Tillmans on Instagram. And I also receive questions via Facebook Messenger based on what I share in our stories, our day-to-day movement that you will see over there. So if you're not following us over on social media, go ahead and do that at Life of Tillmans on Instagram. And so I just wanted to bring those questions because I feel like if 2, 3, 4, 10 people have that question, then there have to be more. And I just like answering questions. It's fun because I feel like it helps us to get to know each other. And when people ask me questions, I'm like, this is how we do it. How do you do it? So I'm going to share what has been asked of me. Before I even get started, I want you to put in the comments down below, what is the most popular question that you have been asked or that you feel like you want to know or have heard other people ask related to homeschool, motherhood, any of those things. Put it down in the comments below and hopefully people will go in and they will answer that question so we can get an even bigger view of what people are doing in this community. I have all of the questions printed off because I use my phone to record, so I had to print the questions off. So question number 1 is, my most favorite subject to teach this past semester and why? I'm going to say, hands down, it would have to be My Father's World. We have just really loved it. It has given us an avenue to just explore even more. And it covered all of the subjects that I pretty much did unit studies on last year, with the exception of like the human body. But it covers science and geography, art and music, which are areas that I probably never would have formally taken a look at just yet. And so it really helped to kind of catapult us in that direction. So hands down, I would have to say My Father's World because it's just been so much fun. Question number 2 is my least favorite subject to teach this semester and why? Don't come for me, guys, but least favorite I'm going to have to say is history. That is only a personal thing for me because I have never really been into history. However, I will flip that into a positive in that we did make some really big strides in our history this year. It came in the form of more of hands-on things, going to museums and things like that. However, it was a really good start for us to help us move further into the book aspect of it. And it doesn't mean that history is not full of all types of adventures, because it is. But we needed the adventures to come first so that when we do add in more of the book, because we did start a history curriculum, more on that. But when we did start a history curriculum, when we add in more of the books aspect to it, it'll brighten it up for us. I am changing my thought process about it. My girls really do like history, which has really helped me because it's my responsibility to educate them. Question number 3, how long do we school? The short of it is anywhere from, I'm going to give a time frame, but it varies. Anywhere from 8:30 to 2, 3 o'clock, depending on the day. Some days we don't get started until about 10:30 and we go until around 3 or 3:30 with lunch, snacks, breaks, playtime, all of that. I'm going to do a video in early 2022 that gives a little bit more detail about how long our day is, because that's a really big question. A lot of people are like, am I going too long? Am I going too short? What's the average in there? People just want to know those types of questions, and I have no problem sharing But please know that it's going to vary depending on what you're covering that day, what else you may have going on that day, how you're feeling, how your children are feeling. Some days that are supposed to be short are going to be super long, and some days that are supposed to be long are going to be short. That's just the life of it. Question number 4. This question, it says, what made me decide to start a YouTube channel? Lots of different things. I was already sharing a lot of what we were doing on our social media account and on Instagram, and a lot of people were seeing that. But it got kind of difficult to share the more detailed things about our homeschool journey and motherhood and parenting and anything else that I wanted to throw in there. It was long. And you can't share those things in post all the time, or you can't share them in stories because it's long. So I thought, let's get on, start a YouTube channel. Did I ever imagine that it would go as well as it has for me personally? No, but I'm loving it. I'm loving connecting with each and every one of you. And my motto and my thought process is, if I'm touching one person and helping one person, then that's all that matters. My goal was simply to get on here and share what we do so that the homeschool community can see the varying aspects of homeschool. And that's it. I just wanted to share our journey a little bit on a platform that would allow me to do it a little bit easier with videos instead of the 15-second stories on Instagram. Okay, question number, I think I'm on 5. Question number 5, where do you put all of your crafts? That is funny. So I get that a lot. People are like, where do you keep all of these crafts? What do you do with them? We do a ton of crafts. If you followed along with us for any point in time, you know that we do a ton of crafts. What I do with the crafts, each one of my daughters has their own keepsake box. This is a box where they put things that they have created, cards that maybe someone has given them, medals from dance, basketball, all of those types of things. They put them in a box, and every year, sometimes twice a year, we go through that bin. I say a box. It's a bin, like a plastic storage bin. And every year we go through that bin. The girls make the decision as to what they want to keep. It gives them an opportunity to think about it. We discuss it. It does take us a little bit of time, but something that they kept 2 years ago, they may not want to keep this year. Usually I keep everything that has like a handprint or fingerprint or a picture of them or something funny that they may have said, things like that. I will talk to them about it and we will keep those items. So it all just depends on how they're feeling for that specific season. If it's a decoration, like we made tons of Christmas decorations, those go downstairs into our Christmas decor box when we put everything away, and we pull those out year after year and have them somewhere within our home. Typically it's in the girls' rooms. It gives them an opportunity to decorate their room in the Christmas spirit or Thanksgiving or whatever we created that craft for. And then they can take it down. If they decide they don't want it, they can trash it. It's all up to them. But everyone in the house, including my husband and I, have keepsake bins. You should get one. I don't know what number I'm on, y'all. I have like 11 questions. But here's the next one. What advice would I give first-time homeschoolers? This is always a really hard one. For me, the biggest thing, I just go back to my journey through homeschool, and I will link the video down below where I talked about how things were in the early years of homeschooling. But for me, the biggest thing is make it your own. Yes, you get different tips and pointers and suggestions from everywhere that you can possibly get them. Only take the positive ones too. But you get all of these different suggestions from everywhere, which number one can be super overwhelming, but it can also cloud your own personal vision as to what you feel like your homeschool should be like. And so what we have to do is take those little tidbits of information and decide what to keep and what not to keep. And ultimately, you want to create a homeschool that is going to fit you and your family, which can be really challenging. And you may not get it the first year, but that's okay. Keep working at it. And remember, we go through seasons. So what you get in the first year may not work for you 4 years later or 7 years later or whatever the time frame may be. It may only work for a couple of months. It all just depends on what's going on in your life. But ultimately, I would say make sure that your homeschool is the vision that you have for your household. Number 7, I think. Number 7, how do you make time for it all? I get this question a lot. I'm going to link down below the video where I talked about how we get things in, different tips that I use, different tricks that I use to help us get things in and not really miss out on those special moments. But just take your time. Take your time, and once again, just make it fit for your homeschool. Number 7, 8, give or take. Can you homeschool my child or my children? Yes, guys, I have received this question a lot, and it is so humbling. I am so appreciative that people would even consider me taking on their precious, precious blessings to school them. I'm just blown away by the amount of people locally in my area who have asked us or asked me to homeschool their children. I have yet to do it. I did homeschool my nephew for a couple of years. But here's one thing that I think about. If I mess up my own children, it's they're my children. I made a mistake, right? But when you start messing with other people's children, it's a whole different ballgame. As much as I love homeschooling our girls, I don't feel that I'm equipped to homeschool other people's children. And there are tons of people out there who do it. I'm just not there yet. But I'm so humbled and I'm so grateful for every single person who has asked me to do that multiple times over. I don't know. It's very humbling. So thank you. The next question is, do you worry that what you're using isn't enough? Honestly, there are and have been times that I worry that. But every single time I seem to worry that, God's like, look, girl, my girls come out with something amazing. And I'm like, they're getting it. Like they're getting it. So it doesn't stay very long. I research everything that we use curriculum wise. And a lot of people ask this question because there's a lot of controversy, I would say, surrounding the Master Books curriculum for both language arts and math and whether or not it's truly enough. And I feel like for our household, it is enough. Now, do I use supplemental material every so often? Yes. If my girls are not getting a concept or if they if they breeze through a concept in 5 minutes, I'm like, let's add a little bit on top of that for another 5 to 7 minutes and just kind of see where they are with that. But otherwise, I don't ever feel like what we are using is not enough. My girls are thriving. They are doing well. They are retaining the information and they are having a good time doing it. The next question is, how do you get your children to focus when doing read alouds? Okay. We do have a 4-year-old and saying that she actually focuses during read alouds is a long shot. However, I can get her to sit quietly and do something, play with something. So whether that is coloring, building something quietly, trying to think of what else she does. Oh, handwriting. They can all do handwriting quietly. My big girls will color also. And sometimes they just lay there and listen. For the big girls as well. We have those times. It just happens. Like they're used to it. I just kept going. If I could show you some videos from back in the day when we first started doing read alouds, I have children like running circles around me and I'm like, and they said, but they got used to it. It's something that we kind of just had to get accustomed to doing because we weren't accustomed to doing read alouds every single day. So their mind is like, what are we supposed to do? I'm going here, I'm going there. But so far, they're doing really well. I just give them something quiet to do that doesn't require them to have to think so much. So no, they can't do math or language arts. They can't do a science project, nothing like that. But typically just resting, coloring, handwriting, those are all goes. Building something, those are good things. Mind things like maybe a puzzle. Puzzles are good as well. I do that a lot with my youngest. Puzzles, quiet, they're just relaxing and they hear those words. I also do summarizing. I will read over something and I will summarize it. I will ask them questions about it to make sure that they heard what I said to retain that information. So just keep working at it. It does get better. Okay, guys, here is the very last question. I think this is number 11. It says, do you homeschool year round? And if so, why? This has been a really big question. Some people asked me because they were wondering if I was wanting our daughters to graduate high school early. Some people were wondering for the schedule purposes, things like that, if we go on vacations for extended periods of time and things like that. We do homeschool year-round. My main reason for homeschooling year-round is so that we do not have the struggle of getting back in the groove because we've been out for a month or 2 months, like summertime. That is my main reason for homeschooling. I want their minds to stay fresh. Now, do we have times where we homeschool and it's a lot lighter? Yes, during the summer, it's lighter. We add in more games. They only work on a few things, math and language arts. We're bare minimum, but it's still keeping their minds working. We also don't take extended breaks. Christmas time is usually the most extended break that they get, but we've still been learning things. It's just different. It's in the form of like cooking or figuring out puzzles or playing different games that they've gotten, things like that. So our extended break in the Christmas time is usually like 2.5, maybe 3 weeks. So that's it. We do homeschool year round. And it just really makes for an easier transition. We don't have those big transitions where it's like, okay, we got to get ready. But they do know that we go for a while and it's lighter. And then we will add in everything stair-stepped. So I hope these questions were beneficial for you and that you enjoyed this video. I hope you had a very Merry Christmas. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, and I will see you right back here at The Life of Tillmans for another video next time. Bye, guys.